Hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here today, and I hope we can have a very nice conversation here today. I have a fundamental question to ask all of you. If one of you wants to answer, according to you, what is education? Anyone wants to answer this? And in case you all can switch on your videos, it'll be great. I'm sure you ask the same from your students too. So in case you can switch on your videos, that'd be great. Yeah. If anyone wants to answer, just unmute it.
I gave the access to unmute, so please you can answer.
It's a learning for life.
Education means learning for life. Okay, I'll take that. Anyone else? If you all can switch on your videos, that'll be great. Yeah. If you all can switch on your videos, that'll be great. Anyone? What is education according to you?
Sir, it's a weapon kind where a illiterate person can be changed into a literate person.
Okay. Are literacy and education the same? Is a different question altogether, but yeah.
It's a basic need. Like we have some basic needs, right? Like shelter, food, air, water. It's also like a basic need for a person.
Okay.
The education is a lifelong process. Whatever we experience, that is education.
Okay. I want a definition of education. Let's say. I mean, what
Education would be something that would make you think in great depths and get the reforms wherever required.
an attribute of education? Can we think of a definition of education?
Whatever leads to growth, development, helps you. As the PDF made me understand, it is something learning how to think what you're thinking.
Okay.
So somewhere deep there, as your own brand says it all with 2 words, but something what helps you plan what you can see, organize, develop,
Okay.
control, coordinate, communicate, whatever leads in this place where you narrow down with an answer, what you keep going deep and deep. That's what the education means to me for now.
Thanks, Prashant. That's a very.
I think education is a real life. Zindagi.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Sir, education
Education is to evolve, to grow socially, mentally, physically, in each and every aspect. Education helps us to basically grow.
Okay.
Education is an evolved way of learning to learn.
Education is an evolved way of learning to learn. Okay. Rest.
Okay. Education is not something which is to be put in, it is just to take it out.
Now, this is a remark on education. I'm asking for a definition of education.
sir, education is acquiring knowledge, skills, information, facts, figures.
Okay. Let me ask a very different question now. How would world be without education?
Like
Zero.
forest.
Zero.
Can you tell me 3 positives of a world without education?
Zero.
No, I'm saying 3 positives of a world without education.
The world would have not come so closer to each other. No
I'm saying 3
communication.
positives of a world without education.
Okay.
We will be natural actually. We will be natural in that case. Education which we are getting today, and for the kids, the education is we have meant.
Okay, someone
We
says.
will be natural.
Okay, Ms. Gauri says will be natural. Somebody says there will be no competition at all. No competition at all. Okay, interesting.
And a simple word like something like
One at once. We'll go one at once. Yeah, Miss Harshita, you can go ahead, and then Miss Maheshwari can go ahead. Yeah, Miss Harshita.
it will be a simple world, just like animal world, where we are just leading a life for survival. And as somebody said, no competition and no goal per se, no social fabric.
Education.
Huh?
Yeah, it will be daily survival and less competition.
Isn't survival a goal?
Yeah, in that way, yeah, it's a goal.
And doesn't survival place goals?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Maheshwari.
There will not be any development, and also life is incomplete without education.
I have a counter question. Yeah, Miss Kiriti, I'll just come back to you, but Miss Vijayalakshmi, I have a question for you. You said without education, there'll be no development.
Yes.
How can we be sure about that?
Yes, sir. Of course, if no one study, we cannot we cannot apply. Practically, we can learn, but which is not that fast as if we learn and grow.
How do we know is my question.
How do we know?
How do we know that there'll be no development?
Sorry, sir.
How do we know there'll be no development without education? What if, Rajnikant claps and there'll suddenly be development? There's no need of any education. This happens like magic.
No,
How is my question?
if you can't monitor and measure, things will be good, things will be natural, things will be beautiful. The environment might be at its best. That's what I believe. The environment might be at its best, but if you can't monitor and measure, you don't know where your growth is.
Okay, strong.
I'm not wearing a watch. Underwater, I don't know how long did I hold my breath and how long I can see the distance, but I don't know how long can hold my breath.
Okay, now all of us, let's zoom out. I'd like to move to the next topic now. All of us, for a moment, let's zoom out. And I want you to tell me, what was your experience in the last 10 minutes?
Interesting.
Okay.
Very interactive.
Pardon, please.
What was your experience in the last 10 minutes?
It's interactive and engaging.
It was helping us to think. That's what it was all about. We were thinking a lot. We were in the brainstorming. It was a brainstorming amongst us right now.
We are researching ourselves.
Okay, you're researching yourselves. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Now, why is it that everybody got interested in responding and in participating?
Because question answer session, sir.
Okay, I'll start one more question answer session. Let me ask a question on, let's say I ask a question on corporate finance and what Tesla should have been doing, what should have been the valuation of Twitter. That's still a question and answer session. Then why was everyone participating here?
So day-to-day life question, no, sir, education and not.
Most of us are teachers actually, and
You relate to the topic, right?
This is something what we know.
Relevant to our knowledge and topic.
If you'll ask on Tesla, then you should go for another set of people.
Okay.
We are here to develop kids' knowledge.
So because this is a topic which you care about. Education is a topic which you care about, which is why you chose this profession, which is why on a Monday evening you're here with me, right? So, so what I'm trying to say is, can you have a class where the teacher is not a teacher, but the teacher is a moderator, where all my students are the guests, they're the panelists, and I'm the anchor. This is how a Harvard Business School classroom functions. This is how a Stanford classroom functions. This is how an ICER, Pune, where I went to, the classroom functions. Research-oriented approach to teaching, where we start with what the student already knows. We investigate, we go to the roots of it. And while doing research-oriented teaching, we ask a few hypothetical questions also. Like when I asked you, a world without education, what will be the positives? That's a very hypothetical scenario. That's very unreal scenario, right? People said teaching is about real world. But I think a lot of teaching is not about real world. It's about Harry Potter kind of a world. Imagine hypothetical situations. You put people into hypothetical situations and investigate. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session about DeepThought. My name is Tarun, and what I do for a living is me and my team, we build technology which can enable every teacher in teaching in a research-oriented manner. I wish to show you a very futuristic learning management system which we have developed, which can completely transform how teaching takes place. But before that, let me tell you, this product was developed after 12 years of research in the school education space. So I initially started going to schools, and we started conducting inter-school competitions for children. Then we were doing teacher training programs in schools. We were doing parenting workshops for parents. So after working with parents, teachers, students, teacher trainers, all of them, after understanding the ground problems, we have developed this solution. So this is not a tech product which is like, okay, kuch bhi software bana diya, de do teacher ko, and ask the teacher to use it. This is a teacher driven product. All the people who developed this product were teachers. So I'll show you something very interesting right now. This is the Socratic dialogue learning management system. So this is the DeepThought SD LMS. So the student gets something called thread builder. What is a thread builder? While you're teaching your class, the student writes what the teacher said, and the student also writes what the student interprets. I'll give you a simple example. In one of my class, I said, Britishers were scared of Gandhi. I said, Britishers were scared of Gandhi. What does a kid do? In the thread builder, the kid writes, Britishers were scared of Gandhi. On the right side, she writes, in an exam, if they give us a question where we don't know how to approach, we get scared. Gandhi's methods were very new. Britishers did not know how to approach these methods. Maybe that is why they got scared of it. This was her thought process while the teacher was teaching something. Now, as teachers, when you all are teaching your students have their own thought process which is going on in their head. The thread builder helps them express their thought process. I'll give you one more quick example. We piloted this software in a school called Sriram Universal School in Hyderabad. And there, one of the social studies teachers she was teaching, she said there's a lot of discrimination in the world. And in 1970, around that time, there was a movement which happened in Africa. There was one person who was in the train, and a white person came and said, stand up, and that person had to stand up and vacate the seat and all of that. The student writes this in the thread builder, and on the right side, the student writes, the black person also purchased the ticket. The white person also purchased the ticket. When both of them have purchased the ticket, both of them have an equal right to sit in that seat. No? How is that customer's right being refused? A 6th class, 7th class boy writes this on the right side. So what I'm trying to say is, as teachers, we all love to talk. I'm sure all of us love to talk. That is why it's very tough when the moment I ask you a question, it's chaos because 4 or 5 people want to talk at the same time. We all love to talk, don't we? So, but the point is, we are not Hollywood performers. We are teachers. What we talk doesn't matter. What the child thinks is more important than what we talk. I hope you all agree with me on that.
Right.
We may be doing Lata Mangeshkar type concert in the class. That's not important. What is important is at the end, what is happening inside the child's mind. And isn't it like magic that you can know what the child is thinking? And this is exactly what all the teachers who use the SDLMS felt. Because when you're teaching, the student is writing everything which you're teaching. And the beauty is, which student is listening to your class, which student is not listening to your class, you'll get to know because the software gives you the character count. Raju, 540 characters. Chintu, 640 characters. Sita, 100 characters. John, 50 characters. You know, John is dreaming somewhere. Because the students are writing while you're teaching. They're writing what you are telling and what they think of it. And the beauty of the SDLMS is that if what you said triggered thinking, the kid thinks it's food for thought. The kid will call it root of thought, and the kid can store it. So the kid can later recall all the root for thought. Let us say you said something very, very thought-provoking. The child liked it. The child will go and click root of thought button. Later, the child can go and see all the root of thought. I mean, I'll ask you a simple question. If you're taking a class for 40 minutes, Are is the entire class equal, or do you have some moments which are very, very deep? Those moments a child can store in the platform. And if there was a eureka moment, the child was like, wow, class is about eureka moments, right? I go to a class because I want a eureka moment. If I don't get a eureka moment, I can go and watch a YouTube recording later. But I want to go to a class because I want a eureka moment. The child can store the eureka moment. And what is your intention? What were you trying to teach? Okay, how many English teachers here? Okay, great. So if you're an English teacher, you're probably going to use a lot of metaphors. Now, when there's a metaphor, you want the student to recognize a metaphor. So when you're trying to do something, you want the kids to recognize it. You can actually put identification also in the thing, which I will talk about later in detail. But the power of this LMS is it gives the power for the student to think while you're teaching. And you get the analytics of which student is thinking, which student is not thinking, which student is listening, which student is not listening. And your class becomes competitive. Because every child is competing with other kids, or a mera character count should be more. When we did this program in Shriram Universal School, the teacher was telling me that the most notorious kids were the ones who were the most active in the class. Because they were competing with each other. So one kid, who never pays attention in the class usually, he comes and says, sir, today I wrote 2,400 characters. Tomorrow I'll do 3,000. Now, what happens with these kids is these kids' brains work very fast. If you can't stimulate them, the brain will go somewhere else. For example, even now, if I don't stimulate you, even your brain will be thinking of your dinner, especially if you cook something very tasty today. Right? This is human psychology, right? But when that kid has two duties, one duty is to listen to you, other duty is to type. The brain has no bandwidth to go anywhere else. The brain is completely focused on your class. Yeah, Harshita, please go ahead.
Yes, so I have one question here. We are quantifying the number of characters the child is typing. How do we filter whether the content is relevant or the child is just out of competition typing anything?
The thread builder is available to you. You can open it and see what the child is typing. And
so the software will give you a mere count of characters, but you have to do your own analysis.
No, the software also allows you to see what different students have written.
Yeah, got it. So you have to keep a check.
But you get a summary of how the class is going, the sentiment of the class through something called session microscope. And one more thing is students can also see each other's thread builders. What you could do is you could form students you can organize students into groups, and you can let the groups, help each other in terms of improving their quality of thread building. This is something we use. You have 40 students, form them into 8 groups of 5 each, and that small groups of 5 can have one leader who's monitoring the other 4 thread builders and so on. Yeah, Kiriti, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, if the person is, if the student is busy in like typing the word, then how can he concentrate on the lecture or classes?
What is the student typing?
Yeah, if he is busy in typing the word.
My question is, what is that student typing?
The thing he's listened.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like suppose I listen the first topic of the chapter. We have written like he's typing the word. Since he's typing that word, the teacher going to start again the second topic. Then how can he compete with that? Like how can he manage?
The student types while you're teaching.
Okay.
The student doesn't type everything. The student types only keywords.
Okay. Yeah.
And the point is, see, let me tell you this. It's a little difficult to understand, but let me tell you this. Our brain, right? Our brain has a capacity to do a lot of things. And if you don't use the capacity completely, what will the brain do? It will start thinking of biryani. It will start thinking of IPL match. It will start thinking of everything. But the moment the brain is doing thread building plus listening, the brain concentrates. This is what we noticed. We have been using this in our classes. We run classes for children every day from 7 to 8. In our classes, we've been using it from last year, June. We've noticed that thread building is improving the concentration and listening skills of children.
Yeah, I can compare this like one example. Like if you are in class, we are making an continuous notes, like running notes we will make.
Exactly.
So this is yes, this is the same exactly like that.
Correct, but this is a little different from running notes. SDLMS is not a note-taking software. SDLMS is not a note-taking software. And I'll really appreciate if all of you can switch on your videos. We'll have a much better interaction if all of you can switch on your videos. Yeah, SDLMS is not a note-taking software. SDLMS is a metacognitive synthesis software. I'll repeat that again. Metacognitive synthesis software. Through the SDLMS, the student develops metacognition. What is metacognition? Thinking about your thinking. The student is more aware of what I'm thinking. Right? So, and the student is doing synthesis. The student is not just being a parrot, a tota who's just repeating what you're saying. The student is coming up with own thoughts, own ideas, which is synthesis. The highest level of Bloom's taxonomy is synthesis, right? Revised Bloom's taxonomy, 6th level. So you're engaging the child in the highest level of learning, which is synthesis, through this, platform. Now, I want to quickly tell you what has been the result or the outcome of this kind of learning. Two 7th class students of ours are working as business consultants today, and they're helping one startup in making a business model and getting funding for their startup. They are helping a startup in making a business model because they've learned financial strategy, marketing strategy, all these things from us. And you can go to our YouTube channel, Sciensation Media, and you can watch students as young as 6th and 7th class children. I will tell you 3 stories, just 3 stories right now. Story number 1. The students were getting into, how many of you watched Shark Tank?
Yes, I watched.
You watch Shark Tank? Great. So Shark Tank is like a TV show. Which
Yes, me too.
Awesome.
Me too. Yes.
So for those who've not heard of Shark Tank, I'll quickly tell what it is. So Shark Tank is like a famous TV show where people with their own business idea or startup idea go and explain their idea, and investors ask them questions. And if investors are happy with the idea, then and there they'll get funding. So, because of Paytm, Zomato, all these companies, startups, there's a lot of craze, right? So there was a TV show also which came up where different startups went and explained their idea and they got funding. So our students got into, we used to conduct Shark Tank like competitions on YouTube, live on YouTube. So in one of the competitions, our students, they presented their idea. So their idea was thought leadership services. Okay, if you're wondering what that means, the student said, if you want to become Guruji of your industry, you want to become thought leader of your industry, if you want all the people in your industry to follow you, come to us, we will make you the Guruji of your industry. We will make you thought leaders in your industry. Come to us. That was their business idea. And then the question was, what is your marketing strategy? What is your brand positioning strategy? Why should we come to you and not your competitors? They said, we are good philosophers. Because we are good philosophers, we ask you good questions. Because of our questions, you'll get clarity. Our competitors can't ask good questions because they're not good philosophers. That is why you should come to us. I'm not kidding. These were 6th graders whose business idea was thought leadership services, and their marketing strategy was, we are good philosophers, so we will make you think clearly. Story 1. Story 2. In another competition, they said their idea was, they'll make a project management solution. Like Jira, there are some project management tools like Jira and so on, ClickUp, Jira and so on. They said they'll make a project management solution. And they were asked, what is your marketing strategy for this? They said, I'll make a 2-stage funnel. Stage 1, I'll send emails to all the users. I'll empathize with them and I'll tell them stories of how other users are becoming productive by using our app. I'll send emails. I'll see who all are opening the email. The people who are opening the email, to them I'll send an email saying that if you have any problems, you ask us, we'll clear your problems. We'll call them up, we'll give them solutions and tell them, please ask your friends also to download our app. 2-stage solution. First is send emails only to those people who are opening the email, ask them to give you problems, solve their problems and tell them to get their friends also onto the app. Trust me, developing marketing funnels is very tough. Many entrepreneurs also struggle to develop marketing funnels. 2 6th graders did that. Now, I'll tell you an amazing story. So sit back, enjoy and relax because this story will just blow you away. This was a 6th grader. She was in a competition. They asked her, what is your business idea? She said, my business idea is I'll have a mall, and inside the mall, I'll have a bank. I'll have a mall, and inside the mall, I'll have a bank. Then the jury member asked, running a mall is tough. Running a bank is tough. You need so many licenses and permissions for a bank. And you're saying you'll do both. She said, I'll do my research and start the business. I said, by doing research, tough business won't become easy, no? Shoaib Akhtar bowling won't become easy, no? Then she's like, no. If you already own a mall, running a bank is easy. If you already own a bank, running a mall should become easier. I can't tell you right now, but I'll find the common links between a mall and a bank, and I'll develop my own theory of how that business has to be developed. Once I develop my own theory of how that business has to be done by finding the common links, then this business will become possible because you have both with them. And only after I have my theory, I'll start this business. 6th class girl. Let me tell you, most children are geniuses. Our education system spoils the genius in them by asking them to memorize, by asking them to write keyword answers and all. But there's a way in which you can complete your syllabus. There's a way in which you can make them masters of the syllabus, but while preserving their genius, while preserving their creativity. We got 6th class children to do a skit on differential calculus, which is taught in first year of college. Many BTech students also struggle with calculus. We got 6th class students to do a skit on it. I'm happy to send one video of that also. And once for 11th class students, we also used to do IIT JEE classes earlier. I stopped it right now. So in the IIT JEE class, I finished entire fluid mechanics class in 1 hour. First half an hour, I was just doing dahi handi. On Krishna Janmashtami, how people form a pyramid and all. What will happen? We were just having a discussion. Last 30 minutes, all formulae are finished and they understood. People asked, why were you so slow in the first 30 minutes? I said, I come from Hyderabad, South India. So, I'll give you a dosa story. If you're making a dosa and the pan is not hot and you put the batter, is the dosa going to ferment? So first the pan has to be hot, right? So in any class, the most important thing initially is the brain has to be intellectually stimulated. And if you notice, that is what I did today. I asked you some weird questions and you all started speculating your answers around it. And then the stimulation took place, and now I can give you dense content which you can pick up. There is a way to teach in a research-oriented manner, and it is very effective. And our students are doing very well right now in terms of understanding marketing strategy, business strategy, and so on, which even MBA students don't understand well. And our students are taking a lot of interest in studies at school. They themselves are taking interest. Why bole to? I'm not saying become your Kulka Deepak, be a sincere boy, study well, you will get very good salary, you will get placed, you'll have a happy family and all of that. I'm not telling that as reasons to study. I'm showing them the overall joy of learning. This is what we can do in a research-oriented mode of learning. So DeepThought as a company, our vision is by the year 2030, every school in the world should become an MIT or a Harvard, kind of a research institute. We want every school in the world to become a research institute. Then every child will become a world-class innovator. Every child will get better than Elon Musk in whichever field they want to go into. That is our goal as a company. And we have 25 thought leaders from 6 countries who have invested in us to make this dream possible. And we've created a wonderful technological solution. And now we want to partner with teachers like you to take this revolution to more and more students. Because before I take your questions, I want to tell you what are the 3 benefits of this model of learning. Benefit number 1, the child becomes extremely confident in life. The child becomes confident that no matter what I want to learn, I can learn. Our students have been learning UI, UX design. They've been learning financial strategy, marketing strategy. They've been learning psychology. They've been learning literature. They've been learning philosophy. They get onto YouTube and listen. I mean, some of our 6th class students have opened MIT's lecture on artificial intelligence and already finished 7 hours of lectures, which is meant for first year college students. Because they have the confidence that anything in the world I can learn. I may take time, I may be slow, but I can learn. As an educator, what is important is the content which you teach or the confidence you give.
Confidence, sir.
Definitely confident.
Definitely.
Absolutely. The first outcome we have seen in our students is they're very, very confident about what they're thinking. The second outcome we've seen in our students is they know the purpose of why they're learning whatever they learn. Why are you learning social sciences? Through social sciences, I can learn perspectives. Why are you learning literature? Through literature, I can learn interpretation. Why are you learning science? Through science, I can learn data-driven decision making. Why are you learning mathematics? Through mathematics, I can learn model thinking. We are preparing children for the artificial intelligence age, where children are able to do things which AI cannot do. So, point number one, confidence. Point number two, they know why they're studying, the deeper purpose of why they're studying. If you think about it, scientists, economists and all, they study 14, 15 hours a day. They do research. Why do they enjoy doing it? Because they connect with the inner beauty of the subject. Through research, we can show the inner beauty of the subject to the students. And what happens once you show the inner beauty? The child will become addicted to studies. Because even studies can be as beautiful as cricket or music or movies or anything, provided we can show the beauty of it. Right? So confidence, knowing the inner purpose of what they're doing. And point number three, they get the confidence to face real world situations. Whichever situation they're in, they can use their knowledge. Which they get to, yeah.
Would you be able to repeat it? Because your video was breaking.
Yeah. So point one, as I said, is confidence. Point two, as I said, is knowing the purpose of why they're learning what they're learning. And point three is whenever they're put in a real world situation, they're able to use their textbook understanding to solve the real world problems in an interesting way. So these are some of the benefits we have seen in making a child learn like a researcher. So I just wanted to present the overall concept to you. Those who are interested, you can come into another meet which Mr. Satish will conduct. In that meet, we'll also get some of our students and you can listen to our students live about how they learn in our classes. You can listen to the student story. Now, those who are interested, you can take up training with DeepThought. You can learn how to use our tools. You can learn how to teach in a research-oriented manner. And then you can start your own classes where students can be taught different subjects in a research-oriented manner. So that's basically what we have in mind, which is why we are, doing this. Is my voice breaking for everyone? Or?
It's clear. No, sir. It's clear.
It's clear.
Okay. For some, I believe it's okay. Yeah. For some, I believe it's breaking, but this is streaming live on YouTube. So even after this session is done, you will be able to watch it on YouTube. So now I'm happy to stop and take your questions. Yeah.
So kids should know to type it on a system, right, sir? So before, because writing is different than typing in a keyboard, right?
Correct. So see, right now, the kind of students we are working with, right now, most of the students we are working with are students of CXOs of different companies, parents who are in very senior leadership positions. We try to work with highly educated parents because it is highly educated parents who know that this is the future, who know that today more than 80% of BTech graduates are unemployable. More than 90% of India's MBA graduates are unemployable. So we are working with highly educated parents. So in that case, we see that children are very good with typing. In fact, when we did the experiment, the children said, I don't want notebook, I want this only. Because they said, my hand will pain with the notebook, I'm happy typing. So that's usually not a problem. But any questions on the concept, how it will work out and so on, I'm happy to take your questions. Please unmute and ask your questions. Anyone who has a question.
Yeah, I want to ask a question, sir.
Yeah.
The thing is that the concept we are teaching to students, it's from their syllabus, from their textbook, or we have our own set curriculum through which we are going.
We are planning two different kinds of courses.
Okay.
One is a school syllabus based course.
Okay.
Where that class will be 1-to-1. The student who is interested can take a 1-to-1 class with you. You will teach the school subject only, but in a research oriented manner. Okay. So which means the kid may be going to an XYZ school. The kid may not be interested in maths, but by attending your class, the kid develops interest in mathematics. So that is one track. Another track is we have our own syllabus. We have something called learning by questioning. We have something called mathematical thinking, where they can develop their mathematical appetite of their brain and try to look at the world in an abstract way, which will help them pick up concepts like AI, ML and all in an easier way in the future. So we have our own syllabus called mathematical thinking. So you can handle that curriculum, or you can also handle the school curriculum of the child.
Okay, means if single child want to opt for both, we can also go for both the things.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir.
See, our idea is, I hope you'll agree with me that more than 60% of the children in schools actually don't listen to the teacher. That is because they're not.
Yes.
True, sir.
Because I'm listening.
So when everyone talks of EdTech and they ask what is the difference of your EdTech and others, I said the only difference is our thing works. Right? So my point is, most of the children do not listen because they don't find any value in listening. Now my point is, you can do one-on-one mentoring for that kid using this method, and through this one-on-one mentoring, you will show the child the joy of learning. Once you show the child the joy of learning and the joy of the subject, after 6 months, the child does not need your class. The child won't come to you for school syllabus classes. The child will come to you for learning by questioning, personality development, and other higher order skills classes. Okay, I'll make a slightly controversial statement here. Our objective is to kill all tuitions. The child should not come for tuitions. The child should not come for tuitions. The child should come to you for personality development. The child should come to you for higher order skills. Why is a kid going to tuition? School mein kuch nahi sun raha hai. So school mein the child is not listening anything. So parent is sending for one more tuition, saying that okay, there's one teacher, that teacher will torture, so this kid will at least listen. But education should not be a torture. Education should be a joyride. They should have a happy childhood. So you can be that amazing mentor. You won't be a tutor. You won't be a tutor. You will be a mentor. You will show a way of life for the child. That child will grow as a CTO or a CXO in the future and be grateful that it is because of a teacher like you that the child became a huge company leader. That's what we can do. Initially, we will probably do a class where we'll complete the school syllabus. But after that class is over, then the child no longer needs a tuition. Then we'll talk to the parent and make the child do these classes. Like these students, the 20 students we have in our classes right now, they don't go to any tuitions. In fact, one of our students' parent, he says, sir, for me, school is not important. For me, DeepThought is more important. I'm adjusting a school where the syllabus is very light so that my child can spend more time with DeepThought. And that parent is the one whose child became a business consultant at class 7. Because that parent knows this is the future. When the kid is already talking financial strategy, marketing strategy, psychology and all in 7th class. Or I'll tell you another student, Aryan. His mother works in a company in a leadership position. She has some employees whom she finds it difficult to handle. So Aryan gives her psychology tips. That person's psychology is like this. You should handle him like this. Then he will listen to you. And she says, okay, my son is my consultant. He gives me leadership tips on how I should handle my employees. And that boy again doesn't go to any tuitions. He doesn't go to any tuitions. Because school syllabus is managing on his own. He comes to us only to learn how to learn. Because he knows how to learn, he goes and applies the same tricks in the school. I asked him, how do you use DeepThought in your school? He said, in the school, I use thread builder. I write what I think about the topic. I write what the teacher thinks about the topic. I find the difference between both and I question the teacher. So what this boy's teachers told us was, he's asking more questions in school right now. So if you are a school teacher and if your kids come to our classes, be careful. Our students are not scared of asking questions. And our parents appreciate questioning. Because we are here with a mission of making all children grow as leaders for the society and economy. Every child who completes DeepThought has to grow as an IAS officer or as a CEO or as a top scientist or as a politician who can change the society. Somebody who's a leader for the society and economy. And leaders don't need brainwashing. Leaders need intellectual stimulation. Somebody asked which age. We start with students of grade 3 and above. We work with students of grade 3 to grade 8. We also have students up to class 12, but most of our students are from class 3 to class 8. I'm happy to take the next question.
Sir, how much?
How many students right now you are having?
We currently have 20 students. Now we are trying to expand our classes, which is why we're trying to train teachers to expand our classes. So we have 5 school leaders as investors in our company.
How long you are taking this?
From 2020, we've been taking classes. But okay, let me explain this a bit here. In the year 2020, our company started and we were taking R&D classes. R&D classes means while taking our classes, we are studying the behavior of students, and using the behavior of students, we started making our software. Now our software is ready. We need to expand, but we don't have teachers to expand. So we are trying to partner with teachers to expand. And what is our strategy? We are giving scholarships to 3,000 children from 100 schools. Already we have started with 3 schools. By August, September, across the world, 3,000 children from 100 schools, we're going to give a full scholarship for 3 months. 3 months of DeepThought classes, we're giving a full scholarship. While doing the scholarship drive, a lot of parents are talking to us, and through that, we are promoting these classes. So we have students with us, but we do not have proper teachers who can actually use our LMS and teach them. So now we are trying to identify teachers who can participate in our selection process, complete the selection process, and then take the training and start teaching the students. And all the teachers who complete our training process, we will help you develop your branding material. We will promote you in all our network of students. We will help you get students, and you'll form your own batches and start teaching them with the help of we give you our technology and we give you our network. So we plan to select a few teachers who can make good use of our technology and teach students meaningfully. Yeah, Ms. Priyadarshini, please go ahead.
Actually,
Sir,
I want to
teacher
ask.
trainer program, what is the
1 minute.
course
You
duration?
can raise your hand if you have a question. You can raise your hand if you have a question. We'll go one by one. Yeah, Ms. Priyadarshini, please go ahead.
Yes, actually, I want to ask that I personally, my child is a hyperactive child. She means she can't do one task for 1 minute. Her thinking power is great. I know, but how to tackle that child?
Which grade is she in?
She is in 6th. Now she is in 6th grade.
Do school teachers complain?
Yeah, actually, she is lacking in the school subjects. Means you can say by her knowledge, she is in 5th standard only. She can't handle the 6th standard knowledge. Like because of her hyperactive nature, she can't handle that. Means उसका वो ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं हैंडल कर पाती क्योंकि उसका ब्रेन बहुत एक्टिव है और उसको एट ए टाइम बहुत काम करती है एट ए टाइम बहुत सारे 1 मिनट पे एक ज्यादा काम नहीं करती.
Miss Priyadarshini, I would say your child is very smart. The school education system does not suit your child right now. But I'll tell you what is we work with such students. What you need is you need someone to do one-on-one mentoring for the child.
Okay.
When you're doing one-on-one mentoring, what you need to do is help the child express actively. The teacher's talking time has to be less and the child's talking time has to be more. Instead of giving her information, ask her questions. Let her answer. While answering the questions, let her figure out. So the student talking time has to be more than the teacher talking time. Point 1. Point 2, she needs a lot of intellectual stimulation. You have one dull moment, she will go somewhere else. And point number 3, you need to give her the freedom to express the way she loves to express. She likes doodling, let her doodle. She likes drawing, let her draw. She wants to make something with clay and explain it to you, let her explain. Give her the freedom to express how she wants to express. And point number 4, have shorter sessions for her. Have 15-minute session, give her a break for 5 minutes, another 15-minute session. You do this for 6 months. After 6 months in a regular school, in a regular setting, she will be able to do well.
Actually, she is good at drawing, and from the when lockdown was started from 2018, she started her own YouTube streaming game. Her own. I didn't teach her. Anybody didn't teach her. She only means YouTube पे जाके सब सीख के खुद उसी ने किया. But when the part comes for studies, सीखना है कुछ, history सीखनी है, geography सीखनी है, she is zero. She is not ready to learn that thing. So that is the concern. Yes.
So there again, if you remember in the benefits, I said the child will see the purpose of learning. आपके बच्ची काफी creative है. She will not do something until she sees a purpose in it. So what you need to do is you need to show her the purpose. She is not willing to do donkey work like the other kids of India. India produces A1 quality donkeys. We call it BPO, but basically they're A1 quality donkeys. You want donkey work, you better give it to Bangalore. Right?
Yes.
So your child is not like that. Your child is not a quintessential Indian. What your child needs is proper mentoring so that your child can tolerate the Indian education system. So there is a way to do it. As I said, these 3-4 approaches, if you try, see, it's like when you take care of a small plant now, you'll first put the plant in a nursery bed. From nursery bed, you'll transplant it to the main farm. Will you directly put the seed in the farm? You don't, right? First, you take care in a protected environment and then shift it to the main farm. In the same way, your child needs a protected environment where your child studies. One-on-one environment, 15-minute classes. She's allowed to express. Her talking time is more than the teacher's talking time. Slowly, she will get used to this mode of learning. Then gradually, even in a regular school, she'll become comfortable.
So, are you from Pune, right?
No, I'm from Hyderabad, but I did my undergrad education in Pune, in ISER Pune.
Okay. I thought you are from Pune, sir.
I'll be visiting Pune in May, so we can catch up in Pune.
No, actually, that offline class was there, so I can enroll my daughter first, then I can enroll for the teachers also. If it's there, please.
Okay, DeepThought only does online.
Okay.
We only do online because with online, for us, the advantage is the teacher can be anywhere in India, the student can be anywhere in India. Right now, we have 3 students from Bahrain, 1 student from UAE, and the other students from India.
Sir, please, can you explain for teachers training program?
Sorry?
Sir, what is the purpose of this class, sir, and in a teachers training program? So tell about them, sir.
Yeah, so that's what I explained in the beginning. This class is about research-focused learning. So how to teach children in a research-oriented manner is what we are discussing about. Like in America, top-notch universities, they have a research-oriented approach to learning. So we're trying to bring that research-oriented approach to learning right from school level. So some people already raised their hand. I'll go in that order. Yeah, Ms. Ramya, please go ahead with your question.
Sir, is this only for school teachers?
No, anyone who wants to teach children. In fact, yeah, anyone who wants to teach children can actually, apply and learn to teach.
Okay. So what we are going to do, like, so we'll what aspects we are going to teach children actually?
See, generally in DeepThought, what happens is once a DeepThought teacher learns how to teach, the DeepThought teacher will be able to handle any topic.
Okay.
But in general, either you can do curriculum-based teaching, that is, you can take a one-on-one class where you help the child in one subject, or you can do personality development, mathematical thinking, learning by questioning. Overall, the thought process development teaching you can do. In our training, we show you how to do this.
Okay, we'll be trained like, what aspects we are going to teach children and all.
Yeah, but so, the most important thing you'll have to do first is you'll have to do a lot of unlearning and relearning.
Okay.
Because our approach of learning is different from the normal approaches of learning. It's a research-oriented approach to learning.
Yes, sir. I have one more question here. Like, so what if we are not able to answer the questions which students are putting to us?
Sorry?
Because they may be having some different questions. No? Like we may not be having that knowledge into what they're asking.
That's a very valid question. We also teach you how to handle that situation. See, let's understand one thing.
Because like if we are not able to answer correctly, so they may lose their confidence also sometimes.
Not really. See, when a child asks questions, right, the child is not really expecting a right answer.
Okay.
The child is expecting a discussion. Okay. So a lot of times in my class, children ask me questions for which I don't know answers.
Yes.
I candidly tell them that I don't know, but we start speculating and we start thinking, how can we find an answer for this question? Then by the next session, I investigate, I try to find something and I help them with it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to tell you is it's okay to say I don't know. And I also tell this to parents. It's okay to say I don't know. Nobody knows everything in the planet.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
But again, there's a way to say that I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Because
that
they
do
may
it
lose the
gracefully.
confidence in the teacher also. Like the teacher is
No.
not able to express. No?
No, see, children are not that bad.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not a teacher, but
No,
मुझे
children are
लगता
not
है
that bad.
ऐसे-
See, let me tell you one thing. You know the kind of teachers whom children like? They like those teachers with whom they have fun. And children have fun when they have good discussions.
Yes.
So if they're asking a question, for most of the children, the question is a way to trigger a discussion. They want to have a nice discussion with you.
Okay.
So it's okay to say, I don't know. That's not a problem. But after saying, I don't know, you can maybe think about the question. Think about the question. Ask them, how do you think we can find out an answer? Where do you think we can look for an answer for this? How would we approach this question? That can make a good discussion.
Okay, sir.
Like, let's say someone asked, how many children were born in Mumbai in November of 2021? I obviously don't know the answer. But then the question to ask is, where do we look for it? Do we file an RTI? Which government office do we go? How do we get that information? If that information is not directly available, what information do we get and how do we process that information to get this answer? We start thinking of it logically. Yes. If we can have that sort of a discussion in the class, and children will also give ideas. So ask the children, how do you think we can find an answer? Children appreciate that. I'm telling it out of my personal experience of the classes which I teach. That when I don't know, I ask them and we have a discussion and they enjoy it. Yeah, Mr. Shyam, please go ahead with your question.
Yes. Yes, sir. Got it.
Good evening.
Sorry?
Means what is the process to join me as a trainer in your course?
Yeah.
And what is the course duration for a teacher to be trained in your program and fees? That's all.
Yeah, so we are going to be conducting a small selection process where you'll be made to do a few tasks. And the selection process basically assesses the personality of the teacher. So after the selection process is done, we will be giving a one week training program for you to get used to the technology and for you to get used to this pedagogy. And after that is done, we will promote your course and try to get some students for you. So to answer your question, there's a selection process which takes about 2 to 3 days. I mean, in the morning, you'll be given one task. By evening, whenever you're free, you can complete it in flexible timings. And once you complete those 2 or 3 selection tasks, then we'll give you 1 week training. And after that training is done directly, we'll promote your course and try to get you some students. Yeah.
For the training, how much fees?
So for all of you who are already registered with Mr. Satish, there's no charge involved because you've already paid him for a training. So there'll be no fee for you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
I think Mr. Raman went in first, so we'll take his question and complete. In case you have a question, please raise your hand. Yeah. Mr. Raman, you could unmute and ask your question.
Hello, audible?
Yeah, Mr. Raman.
Sir, I just want to know that, thanks, first of all, thank you and please this session. Now, I want to understand that for students, for the kids, right? What is the complete duration? Right? And
sorry, what is the sorry?
Complete duration the student will be involved in this, for learning this.
Yeah. So if it is an academic engagement program where you are helping the student with the school syllabus, that is of course 1 year. But if it's a personality development or learning by questioning or any of these, beyond syllabus modules, we usually put it at 3 months. After 3 months, if the student is interested, the student can take another module of yours, or new students may come for the same module. If it is extracurricular, 3 months. If it is curricular, 1 year.
Okay. And per week, how many hours? Every day or it's a weekend, something like that?
So if it is extracurricular, it will be about Please mute yourself in case you're not talking, all of you. Yeah. So if it is extracurricular, it will be 2 to 3 days per week. And if it is subject based, again, that's dependent on the student and the teacher, right? It's almost like one-on-one mentoring, right? If it's subject based, it's dependent on the student and the teacher.
Okay. Noted.
Because in general, most teachers for maths, they would probably want 5 hours in a week. For science, probably they would want 4 hours in a week. But again, that depends on the teacher's style and the student's, interest as well. Because if it is school syllabus based, it's customized for the child. But if it is extracurricular, it's a group oriented class where we set it up for 3 months and either 2 days or 3 days per week, depending on the module. And then we bring the students into the class. So like right now we are running 2 extracurricular courses. One is called socio-emotional growth. Socio-emotional growth, where children learn their emotions, how to manage their emotions and all of that. That is a 3 days per week course. And we were also doing a computer science course, and that computer science course, we were doing it as 2 days per week.
Okay. I would like to see on this first on my kid also. He's in the 7th standard right now. I'm just sharing one of his, I will not say problem or not a negative point, but while writing, he's very slow, number one. Okay, though he's very active and the other thing, and he's very creative also enough, right? So writing is very slow, and number 2, his writing is very poor also. He's in the 7th standard, but when writing, it looks like the 1st standard writing.
I've shared my contact number with you on the chat.
Okay.
I've shared my contact number. You can just ping me on WhatsApp. We'll get one of our team members to speak to him, and then we can have a discussion once we speak to your child.
Okay.
We're going to understand him. But one thing I'll tell you, Mr. Raman, is every child, loves to be taught. Every child loves to be taught. But it is just about proper diagnosis in terms of understanding what are the gaps the child has. And we'll need proper drills to deal with those gaps. Like here, it is about understanding, is it about the psychomotor skills? Is it about the articulation abilities of the child? Is it about the interest levels of the child? What are the things which are being a challenge? Once we understand it, for each one, we can have a specific way of solving it. Like sometimes the kids take more time to articulate. If they take more time to articulate, then writing becomes tough. So then we'll need to do a lot of drills which will help them articulate. What is articulation? Ability to put your thoughts in the form of words. For some kids, it takes more time to put thoughts in the form of words. So what I've noticed is sometimes maybe kids will find it easy to articulate orally, but they may have challenges to articulate in a written format. So then maybe it makes sense to give them more opportunities to articulate orally and slowly translate what they've already stated orally in a written format. First make them speak, then make them write. Then slowly they develop the written articulation also. So there are ways to deal with it. But the first step, of course, is to diagnose where the challenge is.
Noted, sir. Noted.
And also one more very important point is sometimes as parents, right? I mean, Miss Priyadashni also, she said the kid is hyper and all. And when we say this, right, we are labeling the child. And when we label the child, what happens is the child slowly starts believing it. That's a crime, actually.
Correct. That I believe.
So your child is good. It's just that maybe we'll have to find a different approach to help the child. It may take time, but there'll always be an approach.
So I will take your number and then I will connect with you.
Sure, Mr.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Miss Manisha, please go ahead with your question. And after that, we'll take Miss Gauri's question. Yeah, Miss Manisha, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, sir. Just 1 minute.
Okay, in the meanwhile, we'll take the question of Miss Gauri. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, I want to ask, as you have told that you have classes for computer science and all. So, because as I am math teacher, so how can we teach computer science in of your module?
As I said, we have 2 different modules. One is a school syllabus based module where you will take the child's school subject and you will teach the child's school subject. Another one is our custom modules which are around various forms of thinking. These are modules on various forms of thinking. Okay, let me quickly answer that. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Your module. So will you give training for those module to all of the teachers who will be joining you?
Okay, let me tell you how our modules work. In our modules, we give you content in a certain format. Any DeepThought trained teacher, can take up any topic which is given in the right format, because we don't teach you topic, we teach you how to learn.
Okay.
It's more of psychological training.
Okay. One thing more. See, you have done. See, we all are teachers here. We all have done B.Ed and M.Ed all. See, you have done lots of research on educational psychology, educational technology, the words you are using, huh? So, but it is not everybody cup of tea. The whole, all that knowledge, child's requirement from psychology point of view, from motor skills and all. I mean, it's not everybody cup of tea. So, how will we be able to recall all those things, and how will we be able to know all those things if we have not already done those things?
Okay, point number one, I don't have a B.Ed. I'm a mathematician by training.
Have, but the terminology you are using is all from that only.
Correct. So let me tell you one thing. Right now, I said we have 20 students, right? They are being taught by 18 and 19-year-olds who are still in first year and second year of college. And many times, if today evening 7 o'clock they have a class, at 5 o'clock I tell them the topic what to teach. I'm a Hitler when it comes to my product team.
Right.
Last moment I'll tell them what the task is and they're ready. I tell that DeepThought interns are like NSG commandos, always ready for any mission.
So
Once
it means you are going to make us NSG commando.
If you want to, that's the highest level. That's the highest level. I mean, see, we will not put everyone in that, but the people who are in my product research team, they are the ones who build a product. They are at the highest level. They're that ready. I put them in so many situations that they can handle most situations with spontaneity and grace. So if you get into DeepThought in that big way, even you will be able to take different topics and teach them with that grace. And see, if I have to teach a school student blockchain, or if I have to teach a school student child psychology, I will study some material. I will introduce that material in a nice way. But beyond a point, I'm not the expert. My objective is only to introduce the child to the topic, show the beauty of the topic. And if the child is interested, I will make the child go to an expert to study it. As a school teacher, I'm like a general physician. You first come to me, then I'll send you to surgeon or ophthalmologist or to dentist or anyone else. First, you come to me as a general. I hope you got my analogy.
Right.
So as a teacher, you can introduce the topic to the child. Then once the child finds interest in it, then the child will go to a specialist for advanced training. In DeepThought, the idea is to introduce the child to the topic. Yeah, Miss Manisha, please. What I'll do right now in the interest of time is I'll take three questions at once. Yeah, Miss Manisha, please go ahead with your question. You're on mute. You're on mute. Please unmute and ask.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Actually, my first query is solved right now. And my second question is it a video-based program or is it live?
Okay.
The teacher training program.
Okay. It's a live session.
Okay. And what will be the age group of students?
Grade 3
we will train the
grade 3 to grade 8.
Grade 3 to grade 8. My question was the same. Do we have to teach a particular subject or we have to teach all the subjects?
See, if you are only having basic level of training in DeepThought, you will teach school syllabus only one subject. But if you are reaching higher levels of understanding of DeepThought, you will be able to handle multiple subjects easily. Because then you are learning pedagogy and not the subject. Once you know pedagogy, if the content is given to you in the right format, you'll be able to handle multiple subjects well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sir, how we will get the students? We have to arrange ourselves, or we will get through your side.
So we will be selecting a few teachers. We'll be selecting a few teachers. The teachers whom we select for group classes, we will be getting the students. But in case you are going to be doing one-on-one classes, then you can actually get a student and start teaching with the help of our software. But in case you complete the whole training and you're able to handle a group class, we will promote and we'll help you get students.
And what is the duration of this course for teacher training?
So we will be doing 1 week of training, and after that we will recommend some learning and some little tips of what you can do, which can help you develop this kind of thought process. Because what this needs more than subject is thought process. How to develop that thought process, we will give you some suggestions after the 1 week training. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Ms. Narinder,
Thank you, sir.
You went in with your question. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Manisha. Yeah, Ms. Narinder, you can go ahead with the question. You're on mute in case you're
Yes,
talking.
yes, sir. You've answered most of my questions. I just wanted to, hear about the age when we start this, all these. I've got the answers. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Ms. Gurmeet, please go ahead with the question.
So you said we have to do 1 week of training with you, and then you will categorize in which part or in which course we are going to join. Is that so?
As in, at the end of 1 week of training, if we believe that you're able to handle a DeepThought class, which is personality development, learning by questioning, computational thinking, these kind of topics, and we feel that you're able to handle a group really well. Any teacher who's willing to unlearn and relearn should be able to do that. At that stage, we will only promote and help you get students. But in case you're not there yet, what we will do is we'll help you promote in your network, and you can get a student for one-on-one classes through your network and start with one-on-one classes initially. But in case you're ready for group classes, we will directly promote you. One-on-one classes also, we may be able to promote you, but we're not fully sure right now. But group classes, we're definitely promoting from day one. But for group classes, we need the teacher to be less like a teacher, more like a moderator who can moderate a discussion among people.
So that means you are going to decide it after 1 week of training.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Please take up this training only if you consider this to be fun and adventurous to learn. Because this is the future of education. This is about how we teach children in a research-oriented manner. If your primary motive is you want to learn and implement this kind of teaching, take up the training, then definitely we both can figure out a way of learning and growing, with this kind of a method.
Yeah, actually, even I take maths classes, and most of the times children are coming up to me and they're like, "Ma'am, iska kya use hai aage? Why are we learning this? Why should we do this?" I mean, this is what children come up and they keep on questioning.
As I said in our pedagogy, one of the main things is knowing the purpose of learning.
Exactly.
Ms. Priyadarshini, you also said your daughter will do YouTube and all, but will not do the textbook. That is because we need to show the purpose of why we are learning. So that is at the heart of research-oriented approach to learning.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they don't go for the school studies, I mean, that is important.
Exactly. We will show you that in the training session. We'll definitely be explaining
Whatever
the purpose of learning. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ms. Ramya, please go ahead with your question.
Sir, what would be the timings for training?
Mr. Satish will schedule them. He'll let you know. He'll schedule them. I think mostly it will be in the evening hours after your working hours, so that it's convenient for you. Right?
Yeah.
Mr. Satish, since I've left all this to Mr. Satish because he understands your community really well. So I've entrusted this responsibility to Mr. Satish. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you please raise your hand if you have a question. Yeah, Ms. Narinder, please go ahead with your question. Okay. Yeah, Ms. Priyadarshini, please go ahead with the question.
It's only for teachers? Actually, I am not a teacher.
No, as I said, anybody who wants to teach students is welcome. And as I said, in our classes right now, 18, 19-year-old people who are studying in college are actually being teachers in our classes.
Actually, I'm learning that memory management for the kids personally. So I'm into that. And actually, I'm doing for my daughter only. That's why I'm doing that. So I'm asking that is only for that in this group, everyone is teacher. I am not personally teacher.
There are more also who are not teachers. There are more people also who are not teachers. I think Ramya said she's not.
Actually, I'm interested, so I'm asking you that is it?
You don't need B.Ed.
No, I'm not B.Ed. I'm electronics engineer.
That's what I'm saying. Don't worry about that. Anybody who wants to learn pedagogy, is welcome. You may need some more time, but that's okay. We'll give you resources to be ready.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and in our training, we'll also introduce you to a bit of theater. We'll make you do acting, right? Like Amitabh Bachchan, all of that. Theater training is important because when you see when I speak, right, my eyebrows and all move. So theater training actually brings that delivery in you. So children pay more attention. And also if you see my intonation, there are the ups and the downs. That's needed to engage the kids. So there's also theater training. There's no fees for those of you who already paid your fees to Mr. Satish, because we are trying to find the capable and highly committed teachers. So for the first set of people who will come through Mr. Satish, there is no training. Yeah. There's no training fee. Yeah, Ms. Gauri, please go ahead.
I just want to add up the things which you have said right now. Teaching is 10% teaching and 90% drama, actually.
I disagree a bit, but yeah. I'll disagree because, see, communication is one part of teaching, but I believe teaching is more about what experience you give the child. What are you stimulating in the child?
Exactly.
I would say 90% of teaching is about what you stimulate in the child.
Drama means the way you are expressing. That is drama, not
No, even then, I'll say, see, look, when I said as a teacher, you're not a Hollywood performer, what I mean is, what you speak is only 10%. What the child gets out of it is 90%. Unfortunately, in our education, what is happening is we are focusing on what we can give. But what is more important is what the child gets out of it. बच्चा क्या सोच रहा है वो ज़्यादा important. हम क्या बोल रहे हैं उसका फर्क नहीं पड़ता. See, if I am telling, in a Shakespeare language I'm delivering, and the kid is not getting anything out of it, what's the use?
I agree with you.
यही तो बात कही ना कि हम बच्चे के अंदर क्या डाल रहे हैं, that is not education. हम उसके अंदर से क्या बाहर निकाल रहे हैं, that is education.
Exactly. और उनके अंदर क्या चिंतन हो रहा है, right? I mean, they may not get it today. After 10 years, suddenly that idea will sprout. Yeah, Miss Manisha, please go ahead with your question. Those who have a question, please raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. I'm really sorry. I'll have to cut this session here, and I'm really enjoying answering your questions. I've shared my WhatsApp number here in the chat. So those who wish to ask me questions can ping me on WhatsApp. And I'll also request Mr. Satish to do a follow-up session with those of you who are interested. In that follow-up session, you can come and listen to our students to understand how our students feel about the classes. And I'm also happy to take more questions in the follow-up session. Thanks a lot, everyone. I really enjoyed answering your questions, but I'm sure all of us are hungry right now, dinner time. So yeah, over to you, Mr. Satish.
Thank you, Tarun. So I hope everyone was active and hello.